Alright, so this is going to be notes for finding area of compound shapes. This is going to be both shapes from side 1 of Wednesday's homework. That is going to involve finding area and subtracting a missing shape. And the other side, which is finding irregular polygons and cutting them up and then finding area of those shapes later. So we'll start on this side. For starters, you have to find the area of the entire shape. So for example, number 1, we can see the general shape was supposed to be a rectangle at one point. But we can see that a triangle was cut out. So step number 1, we need to find the area of the rectangle. So the area of the rectangle, we need the base, which we can see looking up here. The base of the rectangle would have been 21. And the height would have been 27. So we've got 21 times 27, which gives me an area of, let me grab a calculator, and that's going to give us an area, 21 times 27, gives us 567. But that is just for the rectangle part. We need more. Step 2 is we need to find the area of the piece that was subtracted, which is our triangle. Now our triangle, we can see pretty clearly what the height is. This area over here tells us the height is 20, and this blue line is the same as this pink line. So we can say that the base of the triangle is 21 centimeters. So step 2, the area of the triangle, which will be base times height, 21 times 20, divided by 2. So we're going to need to punch all that into our calculator. So 21 times 20 divided by 2. Yes, you can just write it all the way out. And that gives us 210 for the triangle part. So that's step 1 and step 2. The final step in this process is going to be to subtract them. After all, the pink shape is the entire rectangle, but we are taking away the blue triangle. So step 3, we subtract 567 and 210. And you can use a calculator for that if you really want. 567 minus 210 gives me 357. 357 centimeters squared. And that's how you do these types of problems. Remembering to write out what formulas you are using so you can keep track of your work. Okay? Now, number 2 and 3, pretty much the same, but they don't have triangles. So for number 2, you find the area of the large shape. And I'm not going to write as much information, but I will write a little bit. So the big shape is going to be 18 by 18. We can see that. That's the whole entire shape. So 18 by 18 is 324. And we can see the small shape is going to be 9 by 9. Looks like they cut out that little square. 9 times 9 would be 81. So 81 is the amount I'm going to subtract from 324. And that is going to give me an answer of 243. Okay? So 243 inches squared. Next up, after number 2, is number 3. Number 3 is the one that looks kind of strange to me. But for this one, you could, in theory, do what we would do on the other side, which is cut this shape into 2 pieces and find the area of each piece. But for this side, what I wanted you to do was find the area of the whole shape, which would be 5 by 7. That would give you the area of this entire pink rectangle that I'm drawing. Okay, so 5 times 7 would give me 35, and that's the area of the whole shape. Then we would find the area of this little blue square over here. And it is a square, so that is going to be 3 by 3. Okay, so 3 times 3, which is 9. And that's going to be the amount we subtract from 35 to give me an area of 26 centimeters squared. Number 4 seemed to be giving the most amount of trouble for people. So number 4, it's no different than number 1, just kind of in reverse, because in this one, the triangle is actually the largest shape. So this first step is the same. We find the area of the whole shape, which is a triangle. So the base of the triangle is 28. The height of the triangle is 28. So to find the area of the triangle, we do 28 times 28 divided by 2. Okay? You have to remember to divide by 2 because it is a triangle. So 28 times 28 divided by 2 would give me 392. If you got 600 something, you forgot to divide by 2. So that's going to give me 392, and that's just for the triangle piece. For the rectangle piece, this part in here that we're subtracting, we have a base of 21 and a height of 7. I drew my pen right through the 7, unfortunately, but that does say a 7. So 21 times 7 for the rectangle. So 21 times 7 gives me 147. And that is what I subtract from here. All right? This was what you were supposed to do for number 4. If your final answer for 4 was in the 600s, you were way too high. That was way too high of an answer. So 392 minus 147 should give me 245 for this problem. Yards squared. All right? And I'm not going to go any further on this side because, after all, that's 4 problems. That only leaves you 5 left on this side for homework. And it's a teacher work day tomorrow, so you have even more time. And just in case you're confused about the other type of problem, we're going to do a few on this side. And some students were specifically asking for me to do number 4 and number 9. So I'm going to go a little bit out of order on this page. So I'm going to do, let's see, how about number 1 and number 3? We'll do number 1 and 3. So 1 and 3, actually, we'll not do 1 and 3. We'll do 2 and 4 and then 9. We'll do something like that. So number 2, we will be doing, let's see now. Do we draw our lines down here and cut it into 2 pieces down here, or do we draw 1 line cutting across? The answer is we would draw 1 line cutting across right here. That would make more sense. And this is going to leave us with a square up top, that is 42 by 42, and it'll leave us a rectangle down here, that is 70 by 42. Okay? All we have to do is find the area of those 2 pieces, so 42 times 42. So this top part is going to be 1,764, and this bottom part down here, 70 times 42, gives me 2,940. We're just going to add those together, combine this shape again, and that gives us 4,704 feet squared. And that's going to be it for number 2. For number 4, we are going to draw our cut line again for this one. I'm going to switch to a darker pen, so hopefully it shows up better. So number 4, this is one some students very specifically were asking about. But number 4, I would draw my cut line there, forming a rectangle and a triangle. The rectangle has a base of 35 and a height of 12. So I would simply do 35 times 12 to find the area of the rectangle. The triangle, however, has a height of 23 and it has a base of also 35. We can see that because this bottom line would be 35. Therefore, this top line would be 35. So, for the triangle, we have to do base times height, 35 times 23. But then we have to divide it by 2 because it is a triangle. So, we're going to do both of those for this problem. For the triangle, we've got 35 times 23 divided by 2, and it will give us a decimal, 402.5. And our rectangle would be 35 times 12. And that gives us 420 for the rectangle part. The final step is we have to combine both of them. So 420 plus 402.5. And we get our answer of 822.5. Going to let you in on a little secret, the couple of you who are watching this, to get help. A lot of your classmates aren't reading the directions at the top of the paper. It says round your answer to the nearest whole number. So even though I got 822.5, I should round this up to the nearest whole number. The real correct answer is going to be 823 feet squared. It's a little secret. Make sure that you don't tell anybody. We'll reveal that in class. And the last one on this side that I'm going to do will be number 9. Maybe number 8 too. I might do number 8 as well. But for starters, number 9, we're going to draw our cut line going side to side to form a rectangle and a triangle. There we go. It's kind of a crooked line. So we've got a base of 18 and a height of 9 for this rectangle. So for the rectangle down here, we will do 18 times 9. But then the triangle, it doesn't really give me a clear height. We know the base is going to be 18, but we're not sure about this. Or we aren't at first. See, the entire shape from top to bottom is going to be 18. And we know that up to this section, up to this red line, is going to be 8. So all we have to do is subtract them. We've got 18 for the big line and 9 for the little line. What is 18 minus 9? Well, that's going to give me 9 for the height of this triangle. So we now have the base of this triangle, which is 18, and the height of this section, which is 9. So the area for that triangle is going to be my base times my height divided by 2. So let's go ahead and find the area of both of those parts. So we have 18 times 9 divided by 2 to get 81 for the triangle part. And then we have 18 times 9 without divided by 2 for the rectangle. And that's going to give me 162 for the rectangle part. All I have to do now is add those together. And I get 243 centimeters squared. Number 8 will be solved exactly the same way as number 9. It's just turned sideways. All you do is you draw your cut line. I'm going to draw it here, separating my rectangle and triangle. Much better line that time. My rectangle, we can see, it tells me the width of the entire line, but not just the rectangle part. That 18 goes all the way across for this red line. This red line is 18. This blue line that I'm about to draw, from here to here, is 8. So if this section is 8, and this whole entire red section is 18, we have to try to figure out what this orange section is supposed to be. Okay? So it's something plus 8, which gave me 18. The base of this rectangle, which, as it turns out, is secretly a square, was 10. And we can tell that because we do 18 minus 8. This is a visual of what's happening. Okay? So now that we have that information, for number 8, the square is going to be 10 times 10, which you don't even need a calculator for that one. It's going to be 100. And then this triangle, which has a base of 8, and it has a height this red line, of 10. We can see that this 10-yard line matches up with this red line. So for the triangle, I'm just going to draw an arrow. Our triangle is going to be the base times the height divided by 2. So 10 times 8 divided by 2, which 10 times 8 would be 80, divided by 2 would be 40 for the triangle part. The final step for number 8 is to add 40 and 100. And that's all. This is the entire process for both of these types of shapes. If you have an irregular polygon that you think you can cut up into pieces, you can find the area this way, by cutting it into 2 distinct shapes and then finding the area of each part and combining them. If, however, you are in a situation where you have a complete shape but you are missing a section, then it might make more sense to find the area of the entire shape and then subtract the area of the smaller shape. But that is all, and good luck. I hope all of this helped.